Good evening, South Mississippi. Meteorologist Taylor Graham here. Obviously, we did not have an early newscast this evening due to college football. And heads up, due to college football tonight, our 10 o'clock newscast may be pushed back a little bit more. But we will be having a newscast later tonight after those college football games end. But for those of you that maybe are a little bit more of an early bird, I've got the breakdown of your forecast. And just a heads up, the next several days are going to be pretty much copy and paste, day in and day out. They are going to be very similar. It was beautiful today. There were a few little stray showers out there. Many of us stayed dry. We had a good mix of sun and clouds throughout the day. And overnight tonight, it's going to be very quiet. We may see a few clouds. The sky overall is going to be mostly clear. Temperatures will be dropping closer to 70 along the coast. Mid to upper 60s certainly are going to be possible a little bit farther inland. Nice and calm outside as far as I can tell. We are at 78 in Gulfport. It's been a little bit on the muggy side today. We've had dew points in the low 70s. Not as bad as what it is during the middle of summer, but you may have been able to tell it felt a little bit on the humid side today. And so we still have a heat index a little bit above the actual temperature. It does look like temperatures are starting to drop into the mid 70s near Moss Point, Gaucher. We're seeing some of those mid 70s a little bit farther inland, and eventually inland areas will be falling down into the mid to upper 60s. First alert radar, nice and quiet. It was a beautiful day today for the Biloxi Seafood Festival. We did not see much rain across the area. The downside is we do need more rain at this point. Doesn't look like we're going to have much rain in the cards for us over the next several days. So across the southeast, it's been pretty quiet. We can see that on satellite and radar. Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, even Louisiana did not really see much rain today. We do have high pressure near the surface that's helping us to stay fairly dry, and with more of that sunshine, we've been able to warm up into the upper 80s and low 90s, which even though we are getting a little bit closer to fall, for us in South Mississippi during this time of the year, that's pretty normal. We normally have high temperatures in the upper 80s and low 90s. Again, overnight tonight, pretty nice. We will be dropping into the mid to upper 60s inland. I would say a bit closer to the coast. We're more so looking at the low 70s. As we get into tomorrow afternoon, beautiful day to be outside. You want the sunscreen. UV index still going to be very high, but it will be nice if you have outdoor plans. By lunchtime, we're already going to be in the upper 80s. I do expect high temperatures to peak right around the upper 80s and low 90s tomorrow. Going to be a bit on the humid side. Again, not as bad as what it is during the middle of summer. Now, Monday, a little bit of a different story. There's a small chance that we could have a stray shower or two throughout the day. But those of you that want more rain, I wouldn't get your hopes up too high. Even if you do get more rain or some rain on Monday, it's not really going to amount to much. I know my yard is hurting a little bit right now. It's been quite some time since we've had measurable rainfall in Gulfport, or at least on record at the Gulfport airport. And it does look like it's going to be a little while before we see any substantial rainfall. Dew points, humidity-wise, not horrible, a bit on the humid side, day in and day out. Dew points upper 60s to low 70s, so you can tell it's going to feel a little muggy outside, but again, not as bad as what we can get during the middle of summer. And of course, it's not going to be quite as hot as what it is during the middle of summer as well. Rain chances over the next several days, very slim. Again, a stray shower possible on Monday, and then by the end of the week, if, and this is a big if a front gets closer to us by Friday and Saturday, we may see a few showers. But the overall pattern over the next 5, 6, 7 days is still looking pretty dry. We'll see if this graphic loads. Sometimes it takes a little bit, but I wanted to show you that even the Weather Prediction Center, there we go, really not forecasting measurable rainfall here in South Mississippi, at least through next Saturday, September 20th. Now, some of us may get lucky enough to pick up one or two of those stray showers. It just looks like even if we see any rainfall, it's going to be pretty light. Now, this was released last week, the drought monitor. We are considered abnormally dry in South Mississippi. Drier conditions have expanded into southeast Louisiana, parts of Alabama as well. And because we're not really going to see much rain over the next few days, I would not be surprised if more parts of South Mississippi get upgraded to a moderate drought the next time the drought monitor is released, which, by the way, that's going to be happening this upcoming Thursday. Now, looking at our year-to-date rainfall, where we have more reliable records. So, near Moss Point, Pascagoula, at the Trent Lott Airport, we are almost right on par with where we should be for this time of the year for year-to-date rainfall, close to normal. As for Gulfport, also more of the same. We are actually looking at a tiny bit of a surplus overall for the year. However, over the past few weeks, we really have not seen much rain here in South Mississippi. So this is an average or normal month-to-date rainfall at this point as of September 13th. Usually we're close to having about 2.5 inches of rain, give or take a few hundredths. But at this time, we really have not had much measurable rainfall in South Mississippi. There's been a tiny bit in Moss Point. There has not been any so far this month over in Gulfport at the airport, and it would not shock me if we ended up not getting any more measurable rain this upcoming week. High temperatures, very consistent over the next few days, not really looking at any big cool downs, nor am I looking at any big warm-ups anytime soon. Overall, our forecast was going to be very consistent. Temperature-wise, we'll be in the low 90s, upper 80s over the next several days. Inland areas are going to be a little bit warmer during the afternoons. Our normal high temperature in Gulfport at this point in the year, right around 88 to 89, so we're not going to be too far away from that. In the tropics, we do not have anything concerning the Gulf Coast right now, so I will gladly take that in the middle of September. There is a tropical wave that we're watching way out there in the open Atlantic, and as it moves westward, it may be able to develop a little bit more, possibly into a tropical depression or a tropical storm. This is more so by the middle to end of this upcoming week. Over the next few days, it's still going to be battling some dry air. But by the middle to end of the week, we'll keep an eye on it. Really too early to say where exactly it's going to go, eventually how strong it's going to get. It is way out there. We'll keep an eye on things, but for the time being, the Gulf Coast not under the gun of any tropical threats at this time. That being said, hurricane season still far from over. We are considered to be in what I would say the thick of hurricane season, the peak of hurricane season, where we typically have more tropical storms and hurricanes in the Atlantic Basin. It just so happens that this year things are fairly quiet. Now, that's not to say that things couldn't change by October, so we still need to be on guard, but at least for the time being, generally, the tropics are pretty quiet. The next name on the list is Gabrielle, and again, so far this hurricane season, we've only had one hurricane, and that was Hurricane Aaron, which that did end up becoming a Category 5. If you are taking the boat out tomorrow, things are going to be a little choppy at times, or choppier offshore with that northeast wind at about 10 to 15 knots. Could see some gusts as high as 20 knots. Over the Sound, it looks pretty nice with winds at about 5 to 10 knots. Seas roughly about 1 to 2 feet. We're going to be coming up on high tide pretty much overnight tonight into very early Sunday morning. Low tide is going to be happening throughout the early, or actually should say the middle to end of tomorrow afternoon. And our water temperature still pretty warm, remaining in the mid 80s. A very consistent weather pattern over the next several days. It's almost like a copy and paste forecast. Day in and day out, we'll see a good bit of sunshine. We'll heat up close to 90 in the afternoons. Overnight lows, upper 60s, low 70s. Not a lot of rain in the forecast. That is good, though, if you have a lot of plans to be outside. If you want to spend some time outside, I really don't think rain is going to be an issue for quite some time. That being said, I know a lot of our plants, our yards could use more rain, and they'll have to go without it for at least the next 5, 6, possibly even 7 days. Of course, we will let you know if anything changes, but the overall pattern is looking pretty toasty and also pretty dry. So time now is 8:26. We will be having our later newscast this evening that is scheduled to be at 10 o'clock. Whether or not we will be on right at 10 o'clock really depends on those college football games that have been going on this evening. Regardless, we hope you stick around after that college football to not only get another update on the forecast, but also to check out the latest news that's happening here in South Mississippi.